The most glorious tournament in football history is about to turn into the greatest disaster in history. Today, you will learn in detail the dark realities behind the glittering advertisements for the 2026 World Cup, why players are afraid, and how FIFA is pushing football to the brink of chaos. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand whether what awaits us in 2026 is a sporting spectacle or a logistical nightmare. The World Cup has always been a celebration, but as the countdown to 2026 begins, dark clouds hang over the stadiums. 3 different countries, vast distances, 48 teams, and a format never before attempted. Everything looks great on paper, right? But the reality is far more terrifying. Players' health is at risk, fans' wallets are targeted, and the spirit of the game is at great risk. The balanced and exciting 32-team system we've been used to for years is gone. Gianni Infantino's new 48-team system, marketed with the promise of more participation, risks diluting the quality of football. Imagine a scenario where even the best third-place teams advance. This means the death of that famous do-or-die excitement of the group stages. In a tournament where even one win is enough to advance from the group, we could be condemned to boring and strategic matches where top teams field reserve squads. And what about the number of matches? We're talking about a massive calendar that has increased from 64 to 104 matches. This isn't just a number. It's an extra burden on the already exhausted bodies of the players. Stars who play 60 matches for their clubs during the season will have to play 8 more matches in the summer heat. This foreshadows injuries and slow-paced football. Football ceases to be a game and becomes a test of physical endurance. The biggest point of contention for the 2026 World Cup: geography. The tournament, Canada, Mexico, and the United States are all spread out. Imagine a team playing their group match in Mexico City and then flying to Vancouver for their next game. That means thousands of kilometers of travel, different climates, and changing time zones. The recovery process will become torture for the players. For the fans, the situation is even worse. Traveling from one city to another means not just a plane ticket, but a fortune. 2026 is poised to be the most expensive World Cup in history. The increase in ticket prices is already being protested. The fact that the cheapest tickets for some opening matches in America exceed $1,000 is the biggest proof that football has lost its characteristic of being the people's game. The fear isn't limited to the pitch. The political atmosphere has begun to overshadow the security of the tournament. Immigration policies and visa restrictions in the United States could prevent fans from many countries from attending. Restrictions, particularly those applied to some Middle Eastern and African countries, completely contradict FIFA's claim of inclusivity. On the Mexican side, cartel violence and security concerns are emerging. Security risks in cities like Guadalajara and Mexico City are raising questions in the minds of fans and teams. Furthermore, diplomatic tensions regarding the participation of countries like Iran in the tournament once again highlight the fact that sports cannot be separated from politics. 2026 is very close to becoming a tournament not only of goals, but also of protests and diplomatic crises. There is a common fear among footballers currently playing in the world's biggest leagues: burnout syndrome. Many star players have already begun to consider retiring earlier due to the intensity of the match schedule. The 2026 World Cup will be the peak of this fatigue. FIFA knows that more matches mean more revenue, but it seems to forget that those sweating on the pitch are not machines. The fear of injury terrifies not only the players, but also the clubs that have invested millions of dollars in them. Many club presidents worry that their most valuable players will return from this massive tournament injured. This situation is setting the stage for a major conflict between clubs and national teams before the tournament. The North American continent will be battling not only football, but also extreme weather conditions in the summer of 2026. Everything from Mexico's scorching heat to Canada's changeable weather will affect performance. Especially in matches played in the southern states of America, humidity and high temperatures could pose a vital risk to players. Water breaks have been given in some tournaments in the past, but the conditions in 2026 could be much harsher. How FIFA will address this climate crisis is still a major point of contention. Will the health of the players be prioritized, or the advertising revenue from broadcast times? This question will determine the fate of the tournament. According to many football authorities, the expansion of the World Cup to 48 teams and its spread across such a vast geography is diminishing the tournament's unique magic. The festive atmosphere created by fans gathering in a city will be replaced by disconnected events separated by thousands of kilometers. Is football becoming merely a television show? Will the genuine passion that fans create in stadiums be replaced by nothing more than the glitter of billboards? This is one of the biggest fears for the future of football. 2026 could go down in history as the year football sacrificed its identity in the name of globalization. In conclusion, the 2026 World Cup approaches with both great hopes and enormous fears. The football world has never attempted such a large-scale event before. Will it be a success story or unmanageable chaos? We are all waiting for the answer to this question. But one thing is certain: football will never be the same again. If this chaos cannot be managed, 2026 will be remembered not just as a tournament, but as the end of an era. Get ready, because football's most uncertain journey is about to begin. The stadiums that will be the magnificent stages of the 2026 World Cup are actually operating like huge financial time bombs behind the scenes. Many of the massive NFL stadiums in the United States are not fully suitable for playing soccer. Expanding these pitches, replacing natural grass with hybrid systems, and bringing them up to FIFA standards means billions of dollars in additional costs. But that's not the real fear. The real fear is where this money is coming from. Many cities are worried that the public funds spent on this tournament are coming out of the public's pockets. The nostalgic atmosphere of 1994 is giving way to a harsh industrial reality. Delays in stadium construction and doubling costs could create a management crisis before the tournament even begins. What will happen if a stadium isn't ready? Does FIFA have a plan B? For now, only silence prevails. Football is a fast-paced game, but 2026 will be a wait-and-fly game. A footballer's body needs a specific sleep and rest schedule for peak performance. But in the 2026 format, imagine a team changing 3 different time zones between group matches. 6-hour flights from the East Coast to the West Coast will exhaust not only the players, but also the coaching staff and analysts. This isn't just fatigue, it's also an invitation to serious muscle injuries. When the quality of the matches drops and viewers start to get bored, how will this affect broadcasting revenue? Perhaps we'll witness the slowest and most error-prone World Cup in history. Chaos will begin with misplaced passes on the pitch. And what about the fans? For us, the true owners of football, is 2026 a vacation or a struggle for survival? The money a fan has to spend to watch a match in New York, and then rush to Los Angeles 3 days later, is equivalent to a middle-class family's annual savings. Hotel prices have already skyrocketed. In many cities, it will become impossible for fans to find affordable accommodation. This leads us to a frightening scenario: empty stands, or a sterile atmosphere accessible only to the very wealthy. If the stands are filled only with tourists instead of the passionate fan groups we know, the World Cup will completely lose its spirit. The social dimension of the chaos could destroy football's claim to be accessible to the masses. While the VAR system is already at the center of controversy, the more advanced AI-assisted offside and decision systems to be used in 2026 will spark a new debate. As the pace of the game increases, the removal of the human element from the field is turning football into a mechanical affair. Waiting 2 minutes after every goal spoils the joy of the fans. These systems are expected to work flawlessly in 2026, but the slightest software error could lead to a country's elimination from the tournament. This could bring the tension on the field to a breaking point, not only among the players but also in the stands and on social media. Will technology save us, or will it make the game more complicated? Our fear is that the natural flow of football will be completely lost. FIFA plans to appeal to a massive advertising market by moving the tournament to the Americas. However, this means sleepless nights for football fans in Europe and Asia. Could the time difference, meaning matches will be played in the early morning hours local time, lead to a drop in global viewership? If a large portion of the world's population cannot watch live matches, will the unifying power of football weaken? The consequences of this commercial gamble will determine the economic future of football after the tournament ends. It will either be a huge success or a turning point in football's popularity. All of this shows that the 2026 World Cup is more than just a sporting event. It's a massive experiment where logistics, economics, and politics collide with football. Our fears may not be unfounded. Chaos may be on the horizon. Nevertheless, we await the day with the hope that all these problems will be forgotten when the whistle blows and the ball starts rolling. Perhaps this chaos is an opportunity for football to redefine itself. But one thing is certain: 2026 will be remembered as the most talked about, most criticized, and perhaps most feared tournament in history. We will continue to watch, discuss, and see where this magnificent game is headed. Because, despite everything, football must go on. So, after all that we've said, the real question we need to ask is the future of football really in danger? Will 2026 be the most glorious victory in history, or that dark turning point where ambition destroys the sport? Perhaps this chaos is the final stop where football loses its purity. But for us football fans, one thing never changes. The moment the ball crosses the line, all these logistical nightmares, greed for money, and political tensions are forgotten in seconds. This passion is both the greatest fear and the greatest strength of the game. You're in the right place to not miss what will happen on this journey, all the hidden truths on and off the pitch. If you also think that football is more than just 90 minutes, follow this chaos with us. If you enjoyed this video, you can support us by hitting the like button and share your biggest fear about the 2026 World Cup in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the Football Oddities channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date on behind-the-scenes football news, upcoming crises, and the latest analysis. Time is running out, and the truth is just a click away. See you in the next video. Stay with football.